morning and welcome to the big story on Daybreak Live, right here on Dominion Television. I'm Samson Balogun. Today we turn the spotlight on one of Nigeria's most pressing challenges, insecurity, from banditry and insurgency to communal clashes and kidnappings. The nation has been caught in a cycle of unrest that has tested both leadership and citizens' resilience. But are the peace deals and negotiations being pursued a step towards a lasting stability? Or are they simply a dangerous gamble with Nigeria's future? In recent years, Nigerian government and regional actors have engaged in dialogue, amnesty programs, and peace deals with various armed groups. Supporters of these approaches argue that dialogue can reduce violence and buy time for development to take root. Critics, however, warn that such concessions risk emboldening criminals, undermining justice, and perpetuating cycles of violence. Today, on the big story, we rethink Nigeria's approach to insecurity. And joining us is a security expert, Dr. Kunle Okunola, who will help us unpack the complexities of peace deals, whether they pave the road to genuine reconciliation or expose the nation to even greater risks. Good morning once again, and thank you for staying tuned. Dr. Kunle Okunola, good to have you in the studio.
Good morning, Nigerians.
It's been a while.
Thank you very much.
We're glad to have you back.
I'm happy to be here too.
There's a lot to talk about on this show this morning.
Oh, yes.
You have seen situations where the government has had to have conversations with bandits for the fact that there is insecurity in the country, and several regions are being affected by this, especially in the north.
Yeah.
What's your take? Peace accord or going into bushes gun blazing? What would you prefer?
Having peace deals with bandits in the first place is an aberration. In fighting terrorism and banditry, it's never in the playing card that you have peace talks with, peace deals with the terrorists. You take them out. That's what is stipulated in rules of engagement when it comes to fighting bandits and terrorists. In medicine, when a cell is found to be cancerous, you don't manage it, you remove it. And that is the way to deal with it. And most of these peace deals are not actually peace deals, they are appeasement. It's a way of appeasing the terrorist, that please don't strike again. And because it is an appeasement, it has to be renewed from time to time. More money is demanded at each renewal. At a time, I think in Borno State, the terrorists were asking for more women, that if we have more women, then it will calm us down. So it's an aberration. It's not something that the government of any nation or people of any nation should be involved, in. And this is where we find ourselves.
Would you call it a sign of weakness?
It's a weakness. It's a weakness. Entering into a peace deal with bandits, sends a signal. Number one, that the government is weak, and the government has failed in its role, prime role of securing the lives and properties of the people. That's the signal I send, that the government is weak, and the government has failed. And that's why many people have seen the present administration as a failed administration, because if you cannot secure the lives and properties of the people as a government, then it's a failed government. There is nothing good that can be built in the atmosphere of chaos. No infrastructure, nothing can be built. So if there is chaos, if there is banditry, kidnapping all over the place, as we are witnessing, there is no point building infrastructures, because one day they are going to be pulled down. So you have to face the insecurity, and fight it headlong. So it's a signal that this is a failed government. It's also a signal that our military, our security infrastructures, especially the army, is weak and has failed and cannot protect the people. And those are the signals that peace deal are sending. And also, it's sending a wrong signal to the youths that if you can kill many people and you can kidnap so many people, a time is coming that the government will invite you to a roundtable, discussion, for a reward. And so our youths are having that notion that, if these people can be called, because when you look at the array of people that were invited, Gawa was one of them. It's been on the wanted list of the military. It's number 19 wanted list of the military for almost 7 years now, and he was one of the spokesperson. He came, in a military camouflage and with weapons round, all his body, sat with the delegates, of the people and of the government. And you begin to wonder, what is happening? Are we actually fighting insecurity in this nation? Yoruba says, if God has revealed your enemy to you, then he cannot kill you again. This is a wanted enemy, and he comes around representing the people as their spokesperson. And government officials and military persons are there, and nothing was done. And at the end of the meeting, they went away. It shows that the military is weak. It shows that the government has failed, and it shows that the future of this nation is bleak, because a wrong message is being sent to the youths that kill more people, kidnap more people. One day government will invite you to a roundtable talk, for a reward.
Now, some people have likened this situation to rewarding criminality and banditry.
Yeah.
If we point to this direction, if it continues this way, are we going to have a surge in the number of bandits we have in the country?
Of course, definitely we're going to have a surge in the number of banditry we're having in the nation. It's actually rising now. It's rising. Like El Rufai, said, he said he doesn't believe in peace deal with bandits. He said, here is a man that brought a cattle all the way from the north on his foot to the south, and coming down to the south, he sold the cattle for 100,000 naira, and he's happy. And this same man, just at one kidnap transaction, made 100 million naira. He said, how do you want to stop that man to stop kidnapping? Because the profit is enormous, with little efforts. Imagine taking cattle from the north to the south to sell for 100,000, and at just one kidnap transaction, 100 million naira gain. He said it would take a lot. So the government knows what to do. All right? It knows what to do. Peace deal with bandits is like legitimizing criminality. That is what we are doing. We are legitimizing criminality in this nation. And I know that there is a double I speak, from the government, that we are not in support of that. But you are not in support of that. And such meetings, you have the military, you have the police coordinating the meeting. So what are you telling us?
Can the Nigerian government realistically negotiate with bandits or terror groups whose motives and leadership has been fragmented to put an end to insecurity in some quarters in the country? In psychology, there's what is called psychological dissolution, and that happens when an individual says something and acts the other way. And this double speak has been the problem of our leaders, not just this present administration, but even the previous one. I give you an example. The government has been saying that they are not in support of peace deals. All right, that is the communities, and of course you cannot blame the communities. They want to survive.
They are just looking for way of survival.
Want to be displaced.
Looking for way of survival. They cannot go to the farm again. They cannot. There are markets in Katsina that have been closed for 4 or 5 years, and nobody has the gut to go to the market until recently, and the people are happy because they have the bandits, with the guns protecting them after they have entered into negotiation.
Bandits with guns,
with
protecting markets.
Of course, if the bandit
against who? Against who?
Against maybe the government officials. The people have willingly submitted, to the leadership of the bandits.
Bandits protecting people at the market.
Yes.
Against the government.
Now, if the government cannot secure people from going to the market, and the bandits can secure people from going to the market, going to their farms, then the bandits are the government. That's how the people have seen it.
Recently, Bello Turji went round in some places and, of course, in some states, was taking taxes from them.
Yeah.
In the states where there is government.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
It tells you that the government, has failed, or the government is failing. We're getting back to the era of late Muhammad Buhari administration, wherein some local governments in Borno State and in part of Zamfara State have the flags of the terrorists hoisted.
The Boko Haram.
Yes, and the people are paying, taxes to the terrorists. And people have, pledged their allegiances to the terrorists because they're feeling the impact of the terrorists more than the impact of the government. Go to some of these rural areas. The impact of the government is not felt at all. Dividends of democracy is never, felt in those areas. All right, and they are very prone, to attack by the terrorists. And so what they can do is to pledge their allegiance to the terrorists.
Is it safe to say that the neglect of the government, having neglected some places, some quarters of the country, has led to the recent surge in takeovers?
Definitely, there are areas in this country that when you get there, you don't even want to believe that whether this is Nigeria, because the impact of the government is not felt there at all. There is no police, there is no army, there is no infrastructure, no school, no nothing. No nothing there. In fact, somebody was saying that because one of the things that the terrorists, the bandits were asking for as part of the peace deals is that build us school, build us hospitals, and somebody was like, bandits, they are not stationed in a place. They move from place to place. Could this be that is the people that they are fighting for? Maybe the people of the community, enter into an agreement with the bandit and say, please help us ask the government. They will listen to you more than to us. Help us ask the government so that we can have, infrastructure, little infrastructures in this part of the country, because bandits are always on the move and they stay in the forest most of the time. That's how bad things are in Nigeria presently. Governance is not felt in some parts of this nation. Those rural areas, they are neglected, they are not well catered for, and they are prone to the attack by the bandits.
Just yesterday, there was news on the Punch newspaper. But no terror attack victims hospitalized in Cameroon. Are there no hospitals in Nigeria?
There are hospitals in Nigeria.
So what happened?
It's sad what we're experiencing in Nigeria presently. There are some things that,
as of now, confusion still persists over the exact number of military casualties following a terrorist attack on 152 Task Force Battalion in Banki, a border community in Bama local government area of Borno State.
I salute the courage of those military guys that they are still able to go and face these bandits. I salute their courage, because it is quite obvious, that the government is not so much after the welfare of the military. They care more about the bandits. In my own opinion, there have been steps taken by the government in the past that pointed to that. There was a time that late General Buhari,
Buhari.
Have said that there's amnesty for repentant terrorists, and Nigeria was spending a lot of money to take care of these guys, sending them abroad for schools. Boko Haram simply means, Boko, that is Western education, is Haram, that is forbidden. And now you are using the taxpayers' money to send them to, to study abroad. What they said is forbidden is what you are now, giving them at the expense of the taxpayers, at the expense of the people that has been displaced. In IDPs, you see people that are camps, you see people that are languishing. All these things poverty. Are sending wrong signals, to so many people, victims of banditry and terrorism that are in IDP camps that are not well taken care of. When they hear that, government is sitting at the round table with the bandits, how do you want them to feel? That they have just suffered, they and their loved ones have just suffered in vain, that there is no hope for them, because at the end of the day, government will do what the bandits are asking for.
Okay, very quickly, let's go back in history.
Yeah.
The Umar Musa Yar'Adua administration brought about what we call amnesty program for the people of Niger Delta, the men at the time. But eventually, it was escalated, and Boko Haram were also granted amnesty down to the administration of former president, late former President Muhammadu Buhari, who also granted amnesty to former bandits, former Boko Haram members. Now, at this point, some of them have been able to travel to Russia, to Japan, to China to study. Some of them were immediately reintegrated back into the Nigerian army.
Yes.
Do you see that as a problem? Or it's a short fix that might be a problem for eventual security solutions in the country?
Well, what Umar Yar'Adua did was quite different from what Muhammadu Buhari did.
What's the difference?
The difference is that in the case of the first one, the emancipation of the South people, they're fighting for their territory. The government has neglected them a long time. There was a time I visited that area. You will not believe that that is the area where majority of the wealth of this country is coming from, as per oil is coming from. And you see the whites, the expatriates that are there living large, to the extent that most of the indigents there, the best job they could get are housemaids and houseboys and gardeners of these white people. They have their own school. The whites, they have their own hospitals, at the expense of the people. And so, youths in that area rose and said, no, they cannot continue. And that is what anybody, could do, because it's an injustice, all right? And Muhammadu Buhari, Yar'Adua, Umar Yar'Adua in his wisdom felt the pain of the people. And he said, no, something has to be done. And that was how the amnesty program was put in place, and it solved that problem at that time. Now, in the case of Muhammadu Buhari, we have bodies that are fighting against the state. The Boko Haram, they are fighting against the state, and their intention, the vision is made clear. They are fighting against the state and anything that has to do with the state. And you coming up and saying there was deceit in that, because what he told us was that, once they start repenting and start coming, that the military will de-radicalize them to get informations about, the operations of those at large. All right. And throughout that time, there was not a single person that was de-radicalized. Instead, they were being sent abroad for training, and some of them were reinstated back into the military. And that's a major problem in Nigeria. And that's what I said, I salute the courage of our military, because they're dying in their numbers. In fact, at the time, they were not giving us the full details of the as per numbers of casualties that we're having. They are dying. to the extent that some junior officers are coming out, calling out the senior officers. And in military, that is felony. They're daring it that, no, they're just killing us for nothing. There are moles in the army. Moles are like
informants working for double
yes,
agents.
Double agents, informants. If there are no moles, how come all the information that our guys, our boys have, before they launched an attack, is already in the hand of the terrorists? How come our militaries have been ambushed, killed in their numbers? This is Nigerian army that was once in charge of the West African, peacekeeping scheme. Remember Sierra Leone, remember Liberia, ECOMOG, And what has happened to Nigerian army? Nothing has happened to Nigerian army. Nigerian army is respected all over the world, But we have issues with some bandits who are in the military. They are bandits in the military. They are bandits in the government, that these other bandits in the fields are working for. And as long as we have that, we cannot make a headway in fighting insecurity in this nation.
Let me take you back to what Malam Nasir El-Rufai said.
Yeah.
Former governor of Kaduna State accused the federal government of having a policy that empowers bandits by giving them monthly allowances, food supplies, under guise of non-kinetic security strategy. He called these the keys the bandit policy. Now, he insisted that giving resources to bandits only emboldens them to make insecurity worse.
Yes.
He further argued that negotiation and incentives are counterproductive. And according to him, the only repentant bandit is the one who has died. Let's kill them all. Let's bomb them until they are reduced to nothing. And then the 5% that still wants to be rehabilitated can be rehabilitated. He claimed that people living in states hard hit by banditry, e.g. Kaduna, Zamfara, Katsina, are aware of how such policies are playing out on the ground despite official denials. Though the federal government came out to deny this, and according to them, the federal government, through the Office of the National Security Advisor, ONSA, has denied the allegation. They say there is no such policy of giving bandits monthly allowances of food, and that ransom payments or motivational payments to criminals are not part of the government's strategy. They also pointed out to non-kinetic strategies, community dialogue, plus military operations as the way insecurity is being addressed. Now, just after that, there was a footage that was released of Malam Nasir El-Rufai asking a reporter about paying bandits. He said, if there is any other way aside from paying them, that the reporter should point it out to him, meaning that he also did that while being governor of Kaduna State. Yeah. Now, is it safe to say that it is only his recent statement is only political and not straight to his mind?
See, what El-Rufai said is a fact, but the truth is that he's one of the people that
created the monster.
That put us into this issue. Is one of the people that created the monster. If you are going to delve into history, is one of the players that brought in, this Boko Haram into operations, full operations in Nigeria. But the truth is that Nigerian government is pampering, the bandits, and sometimes you wonder for what reason is the Nigerian government doing that, Can you imagine someone who has been on the wanted list of the military for over 7 years? Is number 19. Ado something is number 8. And both of them were at a peace deal. And the military were there, the police were there, and nothing happened. And safely after the meeting, they left safely. And this man was even there shouting and protecting the interests of the, of the Fulani, saying that, why do Nigerians always claim that, all Fulanis are bandits? That's just few of us. Just like you have, few bandits in some other tribes, and regions in Nigeria. And they left. Are we afraid? I'm talking of the military. They're afraid of the terrorists, or there is an higher order that says pamper them, leave them, let them do. Okay, I subscribe to the latter one, because I always believe that our military, if given full support, a military is capable and is well respected all over the world, but they're having counter orders. We're pampering the bandits because some people in the military, in the police, in the government, they are having a lot of gain as long as this war persists.
All right. How does the government justify the prosecution of Nnamdi Kanu, the arrest of Sunday Igboho, and the pampering of bandits in the north?
I told us that at the beginning that there is, in the study of psychology, there's something called psychological discomfort, which individuals experience when holding conflict beliefs, values, or attitudes, or when their action contradicts their beliefs and are motivated to reduce this dissonance. On one hand, you apprehend somebody because you believe he's a bandit, and on the other hand, you are having, negotiation with
peace
deal with some bandits. Does that not, seem a conflicting issue? All right, double speak. That is what we've been having in this nation. You are using law to cripple somebody, and you are using the same law, to help the other person with the same offense in court. It's an aberration.
So what does the double standard say about the justice system in the country?
We have no justice system. That is what it says. That there is no justice system, that you can do anything and go away with it, depending on what side of the government that you are. There is no justice system. If there is justice system, victims of these of bandits, people that have been widowed, people that have been made orphan, they will see some of these bandits that killed their loved ones sitting with the government. How do you want them to feel? There's no justice. They've just suffered in vain. There's no justice. The government is not helping anybody. And that is the picture that we're playing. And that's why outside world, we are becoming a laughing stock, because everybody knows that this is not the way to deal with terrorism.
So if the government can sit with the bandits to have a discussion, why not extend the same hand to political agitators like Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday Igboho?
Double speak. It's double speak, double standard. And it's quite unfortunate, that we are experiencing that even now at the administration of a man that promised at his inaugural speech when he was being made president that he's going to fight insecurity headlong. All right, it's not just about pumping money, a lot of money into fighting insecurity, money that are going to be shared by some people. It's about the body language. The body language. We've been having lip saying that is quite different for the body language, and that is double standard. If we are extending the hand of fellowship, to the bandits, you actually want to use the non-kinetic approach, like they're saying, for the bandits. Why not use the same thing for Nnamdi Kanu?
Could selective prosecution fuel more political agitation?
Of course it will. It will. It definitely will. Because it's obvious. How do you want Nnamdi Kanu to be feeling? How do you want his supporters? Because there are people that are, that are supporting him. How do you want them to feel? This thing is going to fuel more chaos in this nation. This is not the way forward. This is not how to go about it.
What alternatives exist to peace deals? Is it community engagement, military action?
In the first place, like I said, what we're having is not peace deal. It is appeasement. Because peace deal is different from appeasement. For appeasement, you do things to appease the wrath of the bandits, and it has to be renewed from time to time. You understand? Before the last attack in Katsina, since January, we've not heard of any attack in Katsina because there was a peace deal. But it lapsed. In last month was August. It lapsed in August, and they failed to quickly renew it, and that was why this attack happened. 43 people were abducted in the mosque while praying, and 12 in their different villages. There's a peace deal. I mean, like the spokesperson in Kaduna said, there's been a peace deal in Kaduna since last year, all right? And since that time, there's not been any attack, So peace deal actually, appeasement actually can work, But if you are going to have a peace deal, it has to be with the contiguous government, not just a community. Because within the state, if a particular community have a peace deal with the bandits, what about other communities? That's why you will see them leaving that community that has the peace deal with them and striking in other communities, and we say there's problem in this state.
Lastly, Dr. Kunle Okunola, should Nigeria adopt the no negotiation with terrorist approach in the country?
There should be no negotiation with terrorists. If it is with terrorists, it's the standard rule of engagement. Take them out. They're cancerous. And if you leave them for long, they're going to affect other cells.
Is Nigeria Army capable?
Nigeria Army is capable.
Do we have the political will?
I'm not sure we have the political will. I am not sure. I'm not sure the present administration has the political will to fight, the terrorists, because if you want to do that as a government, they're going to step on the toes of some influential people who are godfathers to the terrorists and bandits in this nation.
So there are godfathers.
There are godfathers.
To terrorists.
There are godfathers.
There are politicians.
There are politicians. They are even in the army. They are in the police. Godfathers that are making a lot of money.
And they are also Nigerians.
They are Nigerians.
And they are watching Nigerians die.
Yes, they are not bothered. As long as more money is coming, they are not bothered. It's true that it's counting losses of life. They are not bothered as long as money is coming. And that is the role of moles. And it's the government that should fish them out.
Thank you, Dr. Kunle Okunola, for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you very much.
That's been a wonderful session with you.
Thank you very much.
Now, that's where we leave it on today's edition of The Big Story on Daybreak Live. A big thank you to my guest this morning, Dr. Kunle Okunola, for joining us, for sharing his deep insight on Nigeria's quest for peace and security. The question remains, are peace deals the answer? Or is Nigeria gambling with its future? Whatever the path, the stakes are undeniably high. I am Samson Balogun, and this has been The Big Story on Dominion Television. Until next time, tomorrow, stay informed, stay engaged. Most importantly, stay safe.